11th, and we're going to talk about solving. And I would tell you linear right now, but put a parenthesis around that. We're going to just say solving equations. Solving equations. Now, in solving equations, you got to first know what solve means, all right? So you can only solve, for the most part, when you have an equal sign, all right? So when you have an equal sign, solving is talking about isolating the variable. All right, what does isolate mean? Getting it alone. That's what isolate means. You're trying to get the variable by itself. Now, an equation, let's break down this whole thing. An equation is a mathematical statement that contains that word right there. Anybody can say that word? No, that first part right there. Say it. Say it. There you go. Contains an equal sign. Good. All right. So, for what we're doing, solving only pertains to stuff that you have an equal sign in. All right. But before we go there, there are some definitions we need to make sure we remember what they are. Now, some types of terms. All right. The first type of term that we came across is a constant term. Somebody give me an example of a constant term. There you go. I like that. 5 is a constant term. All right. 5 is a constant term. Oh, my bad. There we go. 5 is a constant term. All right. Now, give me an example of a variable. All right, x. All right, x is a variable. All right. Somebody give me an example of a variable term. 5x. Look at that. 5x is a variable term. All right. Now, just these three things right here. When you're dealing with an equation, it's going to cause for you to move any of these. When you want to move these, I'll put this under here. I'll do like this, and I'll put some equal signs at the bottom. I mean, put some arrows at the bottom. That's what I'll do. All right. So all these terms can be moved by adding its opposite. All right. You can only move these, I should say can only be moved by adding its opposite. So in this case, if I ask you to move somebody, you can only move them by adding its opposite. Let's try it out. All right. In this equation here, 3x minus 6 equals 4y plus 7z. All right. Now, this is an equation. I know it is an equation because what's in the middle? An equal sign. All right. Now, an equal sign is like this concrete wall right here. It divides one room from the next room. And just like this room, there's only one way you can come in and go out. And what way is that? How you get out of here? Through the door. All right? You can't just go through this wall because you're going to hurt yourself. All right? The only way you can move from one room to the next is by adding its opposite if you are one of these three things. So remember, an equal sign is like a wall. So draw you a wall where your equal sign is. Anytime you want to cross there, you got to add its opposite. Anytime you want to cross there. If you are one of these. So let's try it out. If I said move that -6, move the -6 to the other side of this wall, how you going to move it? That's what it say. Add is what? Opposite. Right now, what kind of 6 is that? How you going to move it? With what kind of 6? Positive 6. So this is what you do. You see, you put a positive 6 under here. And whatever you do to one side of the, that's why this is called the property of equality. Whatever you do to one side of the equal sign, you do to the other side. So I'm going to put a little positive right there. All right? So if I want to move a constant term, I can only move it by adding its opposite. So if that's a negative, I added a positive. All right? Underline. Underline means we're finna combine now. Now look, if you leave a room, can you still be standing there? I don't know how many tests I grade. Sometimes y'all magicians, man. Y'all leave the room and still, I saw you moving, and you still write 6 right there. You can't, because a -6 and a positive 6 is going to do what? Cancel out. It's gone from that side. So what's left on that side? You got 3x on that side. Always bring down your equal sign. Just bring it down. The 6 is moved. They're gone. It moved to the other side. Now, these are not like terms. So stop trying to tell me that the 6 plus 4 is 10. That was our last test. That's how I know you can increase your points from the previous test by getting this stuff right. But anyway, here we go. You can't add none of this because they're not like terms. So you put them in order. X, Y, like you do Y, put them in order. Y, Z, then the number, then a regular constant. So it'll be 4Y plus 7Z plus 6. You just move that 6 to the other side of the equation. You move the constant term. Let's try it again. All right. What if I ask you to move the 7Z to the other side of the equation? How you going to move it? First off, what is 7Z? What kind of term is 7Z? I got a three type of terms up here, right? It's a variable term, correct? All right. So if I want to move that 7Z, I can only move it by what? What did it say? Add is opposite, right? All right, here we go. So I got a positive 7Z. How can I move that to this side? You subtract. You gotta do the opposite. So if it's a positive, you do negative 7Z. Or you can say if it's a plus 7Z, I minus 7Z. It means the same thing. So I'm gonna subtract 7Z from this side, draw my line. I'm gonna subtract 7Z from this side, draw my line. When you leave a room, you still can't be there. So it should be gone. All right? There we go. No glare. When you leave a room, that 7Z should be on that side now. All right, let's write it out. Don't tell me that 3x's and 7z's is -4 or 10. You can't. Why I can't put these two together? They're not like terms. That's an x and that's a what? So just put them side by side. That should be 3x. If that's a -7z, just say -7z side by side. Equal sign always gonna come down. Equal 4y. And the z's, they went away, right? So plus what? All right. This is just moving terms around. You can only move anything by its opposites. I don't want to see nobody say, oh, I want to move this 4y. Oh, they're just plus 4y. You can't. It got to be the opposite when you move it over there. That's like going through the door. Change the sign when you move it, all right? So here we go. Let's see. Let's move the 3x now. How you move that 3x? First off, what kind of term is that, 3x? It's a variable term, right? They can only be moved by doing what? So how you going to move this 3x? You do what now? Yeah, you got to do the opposite, right? All right. Draw your line because you're finna combine some stuff, all right? When you move that 3x, it's gone. You're left with negative 7z equals, all right? Now, put them in order. X, Y, alphabetical order. My x term go first, so negative 3x. That's a positive 4y, so I say plus 4y. And then I say plus 6. This is just moving terms around. I'm just trying to show you that in order to move anything across the equal sign, any of these things, you have to add its opposite to move. From here till you get to past college algebra and calculus, move it with its opposite. Now, there's one other term that's not found up here, and that term is called, well, that item is called a coefficient. All right, so I'm come down here. So in 5x, what's the coefficient? 5. Yeah. When you see a variable term with a number and a letter, that 5 part is called the coefficient. All right? I'm going to lie to you. I told you I'm going to lie to you twice this semester. I think this is my first time lying. I think. I won't count. All right? So the 5 is a coefficient. Write this down. This is the lie I'm going to tell you. Can only be moved by dividing. All right? This is a lie that we're going to roll with till we can't no more. But it helps. A coefficient can only be moved by dividing. This is the only thing you divide to move. The only thing. Everybody else you add and subtract. The coefficient is the only thing you can move by dividing. So when I go down to this expression right here, this equation down here at the bottom, if I said move the negative 7, how will you move the negative 7? Divide by what? 6. Try it again. Try it again. You said the same answer twice. You didn't say the only other answer it is. Divide by what? Negative 7. When you divide, you can't change. It ain't no opposite. You can't change no sign when you divide. Well, the property of equality says that whatever I do to one side, I'll do to the whole other side. Now you can write a 7 under each one, but a line under everything and the 7 mean the same thing. So let's explain what just happened. Remember, I said divide by the coefficient. The coefficient is what? 7. Say it again. Negative 7. You got to divide by exactly what that coefficient is. That's the only way to get that canceled out. I don't want negative z. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. I want no negative z. I want regular z is equal to negative 3x plus 4y plus 6 all over. I'll take negative 7. I'll take that. All right? That's getting z by itself. I want regular positive z. If you divide by a positive, if you change the sign, you're going to have a negative variable. I don't want that. You want regular letter. So in this little intro, what we tried to go back over is the fact that we can identify the difference between a constant term, a variable, and a variable term. That these can only be moved by adding its opposite. The only one that can be moved by dividing is the what? Coefficient. That what the intro of this lesson was.